Okay, 6.6, solving radical equations. That's equations that have square roots, cube roots, fourth roots. So we're going to be solving equations that have roots in them. First thing you got to do is you make sure that the square root is by itself or just has a number in front of it. You can even square it as a number, that's okay. So once you have this, to undo a square root, you're going to square. So square both sides. This square gets rid of the square root. So this is just 2x minus 3. 4 squared is 16. This is all for x. Add 3. 16 plus 3 is 19. And it doesn't always come out perfect, okay? 19 halves. So put it back in here. Always check it, okay? 2 times 19 halves minus 3. So that's 19 minus 3 is what? 16, which is equal to 4. So that does check. So that was our check right here. Let's do another one. First thing you do, make sure it's by itself or with a 2 in front. Now square both sides. I'll change colors here. Square, square. So this is 5x plus 2. 7 times 7, 49. Subtract 2, 47. Divide by 5. Okay. Plug it in. Do our check. 5 times 47 fifths plus 2. Is that equal to 7? So that 5 cancels, so you get 47 plus 2 is 49. That does check out. Okay, this does not have a square root by itself. See how far this square root goes? It does not go over this part. So you need to get this to the other side before you go square it, or you're going to have foiling, and when you foil that, you're going to end up with square root still. So what you want to do first is take this over there. How do we do that? Minus what? 8 minus 1 is 7. Now we do what? Square root, so we're going to square, right? It's a square root, so we're going to square it. The square root gets rid of the square. So you have 6x equals 7 times 7, 49. Divide by 6. So we have, to check it, we have square root, oops, I went too far, of 6 times 49, 6. That's as far as that goes. Plus 1 equals 8. So this part, square root of 49 is 7, plus 1 is 8. So that does check out. Okay. So this one's not really square yet. What do we got to do?
Plus 3.
Add 3, right? So we have square root of x minus 1. 9 and 3 is 12. What do we do now? Well, the square root by itself. So we're going to square, right? So we have x minus 1 equals 144. add 1. So we have x equals 144 plus 1 is 145. So if you plug it in, 145 minus 1 is 144, right? That's 12 minus 3. 12 minus 3 is 9, right? Checks out. And this is a negative here. To get rid of a square root, we squared both sides. What do you think we'll do to get rid of a cube root? We cube both sides.
Divided by?
Cube it.
Oh.
See, this one was a square root, so we squared. This is a cube root, so we're going to cube. Okay? Boom, boom. So x is -1 times -1 times -1 is -1. Okay? And that's easy to check out, just what times itself 3 times is that. Cube root of this, same thing, we need to cube both sides. That gets rid of the cube root. So that's y. The cube of -2. Right. That's -2, -2, -2, which is -8. A cube can be negative. If it says square root of x is negative, then that's no solution.
Oh.
If it's a 2 or a 4, an even number, it can't be negative. Okay, this is by itself, the 5 is under there, so we're going to cube both sides to get rid of the cube root. Cube both sides. So we have y plus 5 equals 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Subtract 5. So y equals 3. 3 plus 5 is 8. Cube root of 8 is 2, so that's good. Okay, there's a couple ways we could do this. You could multiply by square root of x to both sides and divide by 8, and it trades these. Have you done that? Remember doing that before? Let's do it both ways. If you multiply by square root of x, then you have 8 squared of x equals 1. And if you divide by 8, you have square root of x equals 1 over 8. So basically, the 8 and the square root of x switched, right? And then you can square both sides. That's kind of the long way to do it, but you could do it that way. 1/8 times 1/8. Is 1 over 64. You could do that, or you could square it here. You still have to get the x off the bottom though. So instead of doing this, everything, just switch these two things. You can always do that, it's legal. Instead of going through the step of multiplying and then dividing, go straight from here to here, you have a square root on one side. If you wanted, you could have, that's your answer, you have 8 equals 1 over square root of x. You could have squared both sides. Could have done that, you would have got 64 equals 1 times 1 is 1. Square root of x is x. You still would have ended up trading these, and you still would have had x equals 1 over 64. Okay, so same thing here. Let's just jump straight to the step of putting a 3 down here and the square root of y right there. Square root, we get rid of by squaring, right? So y is 1/3 times 1/3 is what? 1 times 1 is 1, 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, we got square by itself over here. So we can, the square root by itself, sorry. We can square that side, square this side. This is going to take a little while because squaring this, you're going to FOIL. So we have x minus 7 times x minus 7 equals x minus 5. FOILing, we have x squared minus 7x minus 7x is minus 14x. That's our outside inside. Last times last is plus 49. Okay. Get it all to one side. Now we have it equal to 0. X squared, negative 14, negative 1 is negative 15x. Positive 49, positive 5 is positive 54. We need the two numbers that multiply to give us 54 and they add up to 15. Six and 9, yeah. And they both need to be negative to get a negative 15, right? Since that's equal to 0, we have a positive 6 for this answer, positive 9 for that answer. We need to plug those in. We can have one answer, we can have two answers or none. So if they neither one work, then you don't have an answer at all. Okay. If we put 6 minus 5, that gives us square root of 1, which is 1. 6 minus 7 is negative 1. That's not going to work because we would have a negative 1 equals positive 1. So the 6 will not work. We put it here, 6 minus 5 is a positive 1. 6 minus 7 is negative 1. Okay, 9 minus 5 is 4. What's the square root of 4? 2. 9 minus 7? Positive 2. So that one works. We do have one answer. Let me put down the people that got here, sorry. This one we can't square until we get square root by itself. At least that much of it by itself. It's okay to do 2 squared. You can leave that together, but we need to get rid of the plus or minus. So we don't have to do any FOILing. So first we're going to subtract 7. So you have 2 square root of x plus 1 equals x minus 7. Now you're going to square both sides.